It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. But would Michael Stipe and his fluff rock REM chums be able to enjoy such dandy dispositionism if only they knew the war-torn, inferno-scorched, demon-infested gauntlet of pain, terror and hatred where flesh is strung upon rack and blood runs in rivers as their pitiful dying screams are swallowed by the cacophony of those damned around them who have died once before and will again unto sunder and infinity under the nuclear dark of a godless earth now and forever on Doomsday? I think not. Happy Friday, lovelies. So good to have you here again with me on Doomsday, show that loves all things old, violent and first person-y, as we move on to the home stretch of Doom 2, Hell on Earth tearing right this exact moment through MAP21, Nirvana. Back on the fly-by-night commentary this week, Crusaders, reporting to you live from the infernal depths, scoring hits and talking shit, blasting revenants and chatting excrement, murdering spectres while giving a lecture, shotgun in hand, renovating these tired, frumpy foot soldiers of the devil with nothing more than a stunning 2-second makeover. Kablow! Now you're a fucking toilet. Well, lovelies, it's taken us 22 levels, 2 hours and 15 minutes of playtime, and a body count so far of 2,657 to nothing to get here. Yes, did the maths on that beforehand. I'm a fan, not a fucking murder calculator. But we have finally arrived here in hell, averaging just under 20 kills a minute, or 1 every 3 seconds, which means I'm already a far more efficient killer than world starvation that knocks off 1 person every 5 seconds, but still lagging behind death itself, which strikes in all of its forms at around 5.4 people every 3 seconds. Isn't mathematics a jolly fucking subject? Now then, the keen-eyed among you might notice that Doom 2 appears to have become marginally faster here compared to other weeks, and well done you. It certainly has. So for those of you that caught the Retro Rumble just gone, the opening part of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, you'll know that to give the game a little kick up the arse, I pumped the emulator speed up by 10%. Nothing dramatic, but enough to give a title that I've absolutely played to death a little. Just a little tweak on the nipples. You know, I just wanted to get them vampire titties good and raw. Really wind Dracula the fuck up. Well, if I've played Castlevania 3 to death, then Doom, my goodness. These games have eaten shit so many times that the Marquis de Sade is currently trying to claw his way out of his coffin to write a 12-volume rage wank about it. So, for these last 10 maps, I decided to give myself a bit of a challenge and do roughly the same thing. Now, unfortunately, you can't just increase the overall game speed in the source port I'm playing, but what I can do, by toggling various parameters and using a couple of light mods, is switch up settings like player and monster speed, monster aggression levels, player and monster firing rates, etc, etc. So, with all said and done, I'm essentially playing the final third of the game in nightmare mode, minus the respawning factor. I guess I could have saved myself some work and played in nightmare mode from the start and unchecked the respawn option, but we're in map 22, the catacombs now, short and violent, like a circus midget. It's the chain gunners that make this one a pain in the arse, and as soon as we step on the teleporter, you're gonna see why. Oh, fuckity, fuck. And there's a revenant missile in my face. Fuck. Christ alive, I'm feeling that speed boost now. Although I have come out of that one a lot fucking worse for wear. If you missed that in all of my frantic BFG spamming, you're teleported onto a platform with 2 chain gunners, 4 or 5 more in the alcove surrounding you, and a bloody revenant standing guard to your left, so your immediate priority is to get the fuck off that damn platform, but oh dear, you're surrounded by a toxic moat filled with spectres who will swarm and block you from moving and grabbing the radiation suit while the chain gunners continue to pick you off from afar. So it is a cruel fucking trap that kills everybody at least a handful of times. And I know I might try and play a little bit cocky or clever sometimes, but I never take any chances with that bastard teleporter. Now there's the blue key and a couple of surprise imps designed to just finish off whatever meager scraps of health and army you're clinging to there. This map is set up quite similarly to map 11, O of Destruction, where one central area is going to be the cause of most of your problems, but just on a smaller, far deadlier scale. Instead of continually leaking enemies into you, this one just dumps them all down at once and commences filming the latest episode of the Fuck You show, starring you, Hello. I ain't fucking with him. Well, we're on 100% health somehow. The worst is behind us now. Fuck in my face! No hiding against walls in Doom, kids. If they're above you and they hit scan, they can make the shot, regardless of how far back they are. Now, these guys behind the red door won't actually ever attack you until you shoot them. What did I get here? 216! Shit, I came in under par with max stats. My goodness. Although I have to be honest, I have no idea whether the parameter toggles might be fucking with the level clock. MAP21, barrels are fun. Barrels of fuck me in the arse is more like it. The very worst that this stage has to offer is, again, right through a teleporter into the next room. Should really be a plus 100% health for this now, but what the fuck. Here we go. Alright, so you're trapped in this long barrel-infested room with 5 pain elementals who will immediately start aggravating their lost soul bulimia the minute you warp in. Now, as suicidal as punching the fuck out of them might seem here, consider 2 things. First, the barrels are spaced too far apart to effectively do much besides waste your ammo and occasionally chip a little bit of damage off of whatever's unlucky enough to be around them. And second, this is the quickest and safest way to kill a pain elemental in a shitty situation because, remember, a pain elemental has no other attack than to fire lost souls at you. And if we stay right up in its face, we limit its ability to do that by way of the lost souls immediately dying if fired at point blank range. And by God, we need to control their population here, especially with monster attack speed jacked up in the parameter options. Now the other thing with that strategy is that the lost souls that do manage to spawn either get stuck on the barrels trying to crowd in to get at you, or accidentally wind up attacking each other, which obviously limits the damage you take getting to the switch. There's a time in every man's life when he's got to bend over and take a dick in from Doom. Best thing you can do is lube up, knock back some painkillers, and make it give you a reach around. Alright, come out here, immediately duck in here, and don't be stingy with the rockets. They have trouble homing in at this range sometimes, but you got 3 very accurate chain gunners to put down and an arch vial lurking in the alcove at your back that's clearly intended to blow you clean off the fucking platform with his nuclear clap while you're distracted by his fat friends across the way. Nuclear clap. That's what you get off of hookers in Fallout. You know, apologies if I'm wrong here, but I don't think I've actually mentioned this in Doomsday yet, and it's maybe the most interesting bit of trivia that I know about the Arch Vial. The sound that plays when it dies is a mixture of like a gurgling laugh, but also a pitch-shifted clip of a young girl saying, "Why?" And I got this straight from an interview with the sound designer Bobby Prince, so it's not just some crackhead fan theory, or whatever you want to call it, and the reason he chose that is because both he and Sandy Peterson conceived the Arch Vial as a violent schizophrenic, unhinged even by demonic standards. So on the one hand, it just wants to burn whatever it sees to death with fire, but then once the killing is done, it experiences extreme remorse and tries to resurrect everything that it's murdered. So, to reflect that, when you're finally getting close enough to put a super shotgun blast through its lunatic fuckhole of a face, and you hear it asking you, why? It's because it's genuinely upset and bewildered that you would kill it, because it honestly thinks that it's only doing you and everybody else around it a favour. Now, that might make you feel some degree of sympathy for it or not. I can tell you right now, enjoy that compassion while you got it, because when we eventually hit Final Doom, you want every single one of them drowned in the fucking sea. Back in your hole, Krang. Alright, we're about done with barrels of shit. Got to make the last desperate dash down the corridor while they explode all around you. Michael Bay style. That's the one. Would Michael Bay have made a better Doom movie than that fucking Polish guy whose name totally escapes me right now? God damn it. Andrzej Bartkowiak. That's the dude. Who knows? Man's directed 5 movies. 2 of them were Doom and that awful Chun-Li Street Fighter film. The other 3 starred DMX, so that's some fucking CV he's got there. I mean, if you scratch off his director credits, he spent most of his career as a cinematographer, and a good one at that. Worked on Terms of Endearment and that Paul Newman courtroom drama. What the fuck? The Verdicts, that's the one. They were both nominated for a ton of Academy Awards. Neither of them won shit, but you know. Exit Wounds certainly wasn't nominated for anything, apart from stupidest fucking main character name. Orrin Boyd. Orrin Boyd. It's not even a sci-fi movie. It's set on Earth. Oren Boyd. That's what Steven Seagal's called in it. I mean, fuck, if Steven Seagal's in your movie, it's fucking doomed anyway, isn't it? The man's a gigantic prick with the least entertaining on-screen martial art ever to exist. And he refuses to ever let anybody fucking hit him even once. In fact, are there any... I can't believe I'm asking this, like, any of you would have any sort of hard-on for Steven Seagal movies. Are there any Steven Seagal fans here that know his movies better than I do, that can tell me if they can remember any scene where he takes anything close to a beating, or a punch, or even an insult that he doesn't immediately retaliate to by slapping someone? I have only ever seen it happen once, and I can't remember the name of the bastard off the top of my head, but basically, he's up against like a voodoo priest cocaine gang, or something else that got made up by ripping all the pages out of a dictionary, putting them in a hat and drawing random words out. But it's the final fight, and Steven Seagal is temporarily incapacitated by a dude stabbing a voodoo doll of him in the leg or something. Marked for death. That was it. Marked for death. I remember now. Had a villain called Screwface in it. And I remember because Free Willy 2 was on ITV one afternoon, and the same guy was playing a news reporter. Run, whale! Screwface gonna cast spells on you! So yeah, that's like the only fucking time I know that Seagal let anybody hit him with a voodoo doll from several rooms away, where he couldn't plausibly kill him with a stare like he wants us all to believe he can. And don't come at me saying Machete, because that doesn't count. He's the villain in Machete, so when it comes time for him to die, spoiler alert, Steven Seagal dies in Machete. I mean, you will figure that out within literally the first 2 minutes. It's hardly the usual fucking suspects, but as he's dying, as he's impaled through the stomach with a pitchfork, a machete, always mix that shit up. God, if only there was some clue in the movie's title. He stands there, giving a speech about how he could easily kill Danny Trejo if he wanted to, and then fucking kills himself. It's just about the stupidest death scene I've ever watched in my long and storied history of movie watching, and god damn it, I must have seen Darth Maul die like a couple dozen times in The Phantom Menace now. Yo, go ahead, lovelies. Worst death scene ever. What do you think? Can be movies or games? I'll allow games. It's a lot to narrow down, I'll admit, but if I send you to the ballpark of anything involving 1990s CGI, well, you can't go far wrong there, can you? You ever seen Meet Joe Black? That scene where Brad Pitt eats shit crossing the road? It's incredible because of the wacky CGI. I saw it with my girlfriend at the time, and the fucking thing's only 2 minutes shy of being 3 hours long anyway. I think it wound up taking us 4 because I kept replaying that death scene over and over. YouTube it if you haven't seen it. Meet Joe Black car accident or something. It's amazing. He gets sideswiped by a people carrier that flips him over onto his front. Just in time for a taxi to turn up in the opposite lane and window fuck his face. And then he hits the road and just does this crazy baseball slide off camera. And the whole thing is framed so beautifully that every time I watch it, I feel like it's about to try and sell me some aftershave. But Jesus! The new scent by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Oh man, there's so many subcategories. What have I seen lately? Dante's Peak was on the other night. You ever seen that one? Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton with a fucking volcano. They're crossing this river on a boat, right? It's like an acid river or something for some reason. And this old lady that's with him just decides to get out of the boat for like no fucking reason and melt. And it goes on forever. She's running alongside this goddamn boat screaming and screeching. Oh, but at least that's entertaining. You know, because then you get the shit that just won't end. Like when Trinity dies in The Matrix. Please shut up and die quietly, Trinity. God damn it, watching Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss trying to emote to each other. It's like watching a pair of shoes try to fuck a jumper. Anyway, let me know what your favourite ones are, because I should probably say something about this level now, shouldn't I? MAP21, The Chasm. Why is it called The Chasm? Are you fucking blind? Huh? Can't help you. Fraggers helps those who help themselves, you know? I like the concept of this stage. I like the idea of it. Playing through it is a bit of a ball ache by the time you reach the piddly little narrow ledges that run through the middle, especially at this speed, which I am loving, by the way. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. It's like Ultra Violence Plus. I see now the more I'm playing it that it's not quite the same as Nightmare Mode. Like, some enemies are a little bit more aggressive in there, and obviously you also have the respawning to deal with. Now, I've been asked a few times when I'm going to play Nightmare Mode, or if I'm going to play Nightmare Mode, and I mean, I can if you like at some point. I'm not much of a fan of it personally. I think what's kind of misunderstood about Nightmare Mode is that it isn't just a difficulty swap, it's essentially a speedrun mode. You know, you got to get to the exit as quick as you can, because God help you if you stop to kill anything that isn't directly blocking your path. You know, watch yourself some top Nightmare speedrunners and you'll see what I mean. A lot of the time they're just eating hits and struggling to keep themselves in the 30s, health and armor wise. It's not really designed for you to be making a big deal out of killing things, and you know, that's not my bag, really, man. I like to walk out of stage knowing I killed everything, took everything, none of its grubby little secrets, and wipe my dick off on its curtains. Alrighty, hop on the hidden teleporter underneath the evil Christmas decoration, and you'll wind up on, surprise, surprise, another fucking walkway. Don't fall in the toxic gunk here, because there's only one way out, and that's going to be you dying. And just get your back up against the wall and have a way with these annoying little bastards. Off and away with you. Away you go now. Go help your da in the yard. Oh. Can I just address this quickly while I'm shooting the goddamn out of the blue room? Alright, I got a message a few days back from a disturbed individual. Let's leave it at that. I say a message. It was more of an essay, really. And he was angrily trying to teach me how to make a proper walkthrough. You're obviously a good Doom player, he wrote. No, a Doomer. That's what he called me, a Doomer. You're obviously a good Doomer. That's how I know he's legit like me, you know? It's like a secret fucking handshake so that I know not to ignore the next 2,000 or so words you type. You're obviously a good Doomer, but you don't know the first thing about how to commentate a walkthrough. And, I feel kind of bad for him because wires have been crossed here somewhere down the road, and what I'm about to say really does render the 2 hours of his life he spent on the rest of the message as depressingly hollow. This is not a walkthrough. Did you notice how I haven't put the word walkthrough in the video title or description? We're in MAP21 Bloodfalls now. Nice fast level to see this week's video out. Look, I'm not in the business of making walkthroughs. I play games and I talk about whatever's banging around in my brain at the time. But I mean, at the same time, his main complaint was like, oh, I've got to do a video on this fucking email, I swear to God. His main complaint was, how is the viewer supposed to know what to do if you waste your commentary track on stories about dogs and imaginary movies? And dogs was in caps. Stories about dogs! Imaginary movies? I haven't replied. That sort of email you got a chance of replying to, really, is it? These people just want to talk at you. You need a debate team and a couple of lawyers on your side to respond to that. But, fucking hell, mate, it's Doom. It's hardly fucking Unlimited Saga or EVE Online, is it? You know, what do you need me to tell you? Round this corner, there's an imp. Better point your gun at it and shoot it. Not just once though. Remember the last 700 we encountered? Always keep shooting until it dies, or it will throw fireballs at you until you die. And you don't want that to happen, because when you die, you must restart the level. You'll know you're dead when your health reaches 0, and you collapse screaming to the ground. Oh, did I forget to mention that your health percentage can be found in big red numbers above the heading Health. Don't get it mixed up with your ammo like I do all the time, because I work in a glue factory and that shit has made me borderline fucking retarded. I mean, Jesus Christ. I know it's the internet. You may have to make a few allowances for some of the characters on here that inhabit maybe the soggier end of the autism spectrum, but Jesus fucking Christ. You hear another Alice in Chains rip-off track in the background here. Bobby Prince calls it Adrian's Sleep. Anyone else with a pair of working ears calls it Angry Chair from the album Dirt. I mentioned it in a previous episode, but that's really another thing that bores me about Doom 2. The music's awful. I mean, in the first game there were tracks that were clearly inspired by famous rock and metal songs of the era, but these are just straight MIDI covers. An Angry Chair. Of all the fucking songs to choose from, it's a great song on the album. But do you want to play Doom to it? A half-assed, sketchy rip-off of it, no less. What about Damn That River? We Die Young, Grind, Fear the Voices. Angry Chair? Oh, we're about done here now. You just got to clear out these spooky alcoves at the back, hit the central pillar for your escape route. It's the big one in 2 Fridays' time, lovelies. We're putting this motherfucker to bed along with the head of this demonic invasion, the icon of sin. Should I keep the speed boost? I have quite enjoyed it myself, but if you prefer for me to slow it down a little, I can do that for you too. Because I'm a fucking gentleman, me.